The Oklahoma Sooners have got a massive transfer portal commitment. I don't know what you call it at this point, but Branson Hickman has announced that he's going to be taking his talents from SMU to Oklahoma. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, going into the offseason, the offensive line was the biggest question. And then, of course, we added on to that question with Troy Everett going down and getting hurt. And Oklahoma fans were really concerned. And the question was going to be, well, what do you do? We heard lots of things being thrown around. But today we got to talk about Branson Hickman. And I'm recording this on a Sunday. I'm not sure when this is going to be released, but it sounds like, in all indications, Branson Hickman is going to be a Sooner. So before we dive into it, make sure you join the discussion, jump down in the comments below, and give me your thoughts on the portal edition of Branson Hickman, because this was a massive upgrade, not only from what you needed, but what you had in that room. I don't want it to be overstated. If Troy Everett was still here, and he was, well, I say still here, if he was fully healthy, playing on this roster, he was able to go, and you got Branson Hickman would probably still be your starting center. That's how good Branson Hickman is. He was the 4th rated center according to PFF. The 4th best center in college football last year. And when you look at his grade and you look at his grades per game, Branson Hickman is a guy that can do it all for Oklahoma. He can be a key building block on this offensive line this year. Branson Hickman is a junior, 6'3", 294 pounds. He's improved year over year. And this past year, 79.8 offensive grade, 4th best in the country amongst centers. 83.8 passing block grade. That was 15th best in the country. Run block grade, he had a 77.3, which was 10th best in the country. And this guy played in 956 total snaps. And then you go back and you look at the breakdown of game by game, right? And you look at his worst game he had. Well, it was against Oklahoma, where he had a total offensive grade of 53.7, a pass block grade of 50, and a run block grade of 54.3. But that's against an elite team, right? And that was against a defense at the time that was really applying pressure, and they were getting home. And that SMU game, if you remember, Oklahoma was playing pretty good defense. So Branson Hickman is a guy that you come in, you insert into the starting center spot. And again, he's probably going to help stabilize that offensive line because you know at least 2 of your spots right now, maybe 3. Here's what I mean by that. So you got Hickman as center. Obviously, you're going to have Fabechi Wewu at the right guard. Fabechi Wewu was a guy that was brought on by Seth Luttrell at North Texas, ended up transferring this season to Oklahoma. And this past season, he had a 70.4 grade at North Texas, 75th in the country. Pass block grade of 60.5. So obviously, there's a little bit of improvement that needs to happen there. But he had a run block grade of 75.5. So Fabechi Wewu, by all measures, to me, appears to be a right guard that can be on the other side of Branson Hickman. And that's probably the right side of that line is going to probably be your strongest side. Here's what I mean by that. You're probably going to have Tarquin at that right tackle position because Spencer Brown, just be honest, he has not been the guy that we expected him to be in the transfer portal spot. He's got all the athleticism in the world, but he has just not put it together. But Michael Tarquin, guys, and I know people want to hate on him, in 2022 had his best year at 72.5. And let me tell you, this was a guy, when he was at Florida and he would hit the transfer portal, everybody in the country wanted him. He was that good. USC just fumbled the bag and didn't play him where he should have been played. But yeah, you look at his grade last year at 62.8, not the best in the world. Run pass block grade 59, run block grade 58. But again, he was played out of position. You put him at that right tackle position next to Wewu, and then you got Hickman in the middle. I think that will be your strongest side of the offensive line. That's probably where you will see the running backs have the most success. Then you look at the left side, where you're probably going to have Hito Zeta be at the left guard. I mean, Hito Zeta has just been that guy in the practices. I don't think there's any doubt that Heath Ozeda has that dog in him. And he's going to go out there and he's going to take what's his. And remember, this was a 3-star offensive lineman out of high school. Remember when everybody made fun of Oklahoma for being 3-star U? Well, some of the best offensive linemen that Bill Bedenbaugh has put into the NFL are 3-star offensive linemen. And I'm not saying Heath Ozeda is going to be the Creed Humphreys and Orlando Browns. He can be if he puts in the work. But I'm just saying, like, Bill Bedenbaugh does his work with a 3-star offensive lineman. Then I look at that left tackle position, right? Who's going to start at the left tackle? Is it Jacob Sexton? It's got to be. Jacob Sexton is a guy that everybody has really high hopes for. You hear nothing but good things about. And although he's playing around with different positions, and obviously you want to have that flexibility with your offensive lineman being able to move around, Jacob Sexton is a guy that is elite. He has an elite level. He only played in 410 total snaps last year. He had a grade of 58.9, but he's going to continue to get better. So I look at this offensive line and I definitely look at what they did in the spring and I go, yeah, this offensive line played well in the spring game. The second stringers, they were a little bit of a mess, but you would have expected that. I think everybody would expect their second stringers to be a little bit of a mess in the spring. But this first string offensive line, I think, is going to be ready to go in the fall, and I think it's going to be a very competent offensive line. I don't think it's going to be a Joe Morrow Award offensive line, but I don't think it's going to be this doom and gloom offensive line that everybody tries to convince me we're going to have. And I know some people are going to say, well, maybe our defense isn't as good because the offensive line had some success in the spring game. Well, listen, that's ignorant because the defensive line is going to be really good too. I'm telling you. Bill Bedenbaugh is going to put out a good offensive line. He's got the talent. It's more just, at this point, putting the right pieces to connect on the puzzle. But we mentioned guys that we haven't even really talked about, like Jake Taylor. Remember in the bowl game against Florida State, how hyped everybody was about Jake Taylor after that point? I'm telling you now, Oklahoma's offensive line is going to be fine. And I wouldn't be surprised to go see Oklahoma try to go find another tackle in the portal. Right? Go get one more offensive lineman in the portal. And it's not a guarantee they will do that, but if the right tackle hits the portal, they're going to go after somebody. They're going to. It's just a matter of time because Oklahoma, they have the need. It's there, just like it was with Branson Hickman. And I think that was probably one of the biggest selling points with Hickman. It was like, listen, we need you. And there's a need as long as you come in and continue doing what you've done at SMU, maybe take your game just a little bit more to the next level, you're going to be the starter. You've got the spot locked up. And maybe that helps a guy like Josh Bates because maybe they can move Josh Bates to one of the guard positions. And maybe Josh Bates finds a lot of success there. Or maybe having Hickman there with what we've heard Bates been able to do in the spring to be able to give him just a little bit more experience, have somebody help him, guide him a little bit more. Maybe Bates next year can take that starting center role. Because we all have high hopes for Bates. And the guys below him, Eugene Brooks, Josh Isosa, and you've got Owen Hollenbeck coming in, they're going to start pushing Bates. So this might just be what Bates needs. Because he might actually find a spot that fits him, or Branson Hickman might come in and be able to help him out a little bit more. So Branson Hickman, a massive transfer portal move for Oklahoma. This one goes in favor here. NIL, a big part of it, guys. When you guys don't think Oklahoma plays the NIL game, they really do. So jump down in the comments below. Give me your thoughts on the transfer portal move of Oklahoma getting Branson Hickman. And if you guys have made it this far and you have not already, make sure you hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.